All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here today, another kind of volatile session. We had a gap higher, and then we tested the lows again. We've tested this area a bunch of times. Take a look at right here. You can see right around 50.30 to 50.15. That's been tested to death, and it held again. We came back checked twice, and then we had a nice little pop here into the close. I see a lot of macro narratives falling apart here today, with the Fed this and the Treasury that. But you know, the bottom line is event volatility. I've been talking about this since Monday. You get a lot of hedges going on here into a known volatility event, not only the QRA, but the FOMC as well. And that unwind takes place the day after very often, unless there's some sort of, reason to really sell hard. It's just not likely going to really follow through. And I've been saying this, I said this yesterday, even though I gave the bears the upper hand with that lower high, pretty good rejection. I said, I just don't think we're ready to break down yet. And that's been the case here so far. So again, the charts don't care about your narrative. They don't care about the Fed. They don't care about the Treasury. You can see right here, this was very strong. IWM, that's a canary in the coal mine. Bullish inside bar, and that led markets higher. You see the IWM leading. It's going to help out the NQ. It's going to help out the SPX. And again, another nice day in the trading room here. Banking points on the NASDAQ and still holding a runner into Apple earnings. Now, Apple earnings here could be, could go either way. Who knows? Maybe it dumps out. There's always that possibility. Got a little interesting kind of trend line here on Apple, connecting kind of the lows through the recent, the January, February lows through the recent highs. Honestly, I don't know where it's going to go here. It could do a Google, it could do a Meta, right? So who knows? But bottom line here, pretty good unwind in event volatility, and the markets are getting a bid. It's that simple. Don't need to make anything more out of it. Now, again, I'm still in the camp. We're going to get a lower high here. So don't think that we're out of the woods. But again, I've been kind of saying that I don't think the market's really ready to break down, and that's so far been the case. You got a nice inside bar here on the weekly. Can we get 3 weeks, of a bear flag before we start to break down? I think that would be appropriate. But either way here, markets getting a good pop. And we'll leave it at that. By the way, this trend line here, that held. So again, if you know your kind of trend line rules, third hit is usually a pierce, and it's usually a fake breakdown. What's that on the hourly or 4-hour? Pierce, fake breakdown, and then right back up. So good move there for the SPX. You can see a good one here on the ES too. It's a little bit different, angle's a little bit different, but nice. You're just respecting that very much. So good technical price action here all day long, and just keeping it simple. All right, so right now 50.75 is a little resistance, 50.80 as well. That's kind of the bigger level. And then of course 51. So those are the big levels that we're going to watch. A close above Thursday or Wednesday's high would certainly be positive. And then 51 and 51.10 are your resistance after that. We have NFP tomorrow too. So again, that's going to be these pendulum moves, right? We got, we had jobs data earlier this week, ADP, then we had JOLTS, then we had the FOMC and the QRA, and then we had Amazon earnings on Tuesday. Now we got Apple, now we got NFP. So we keep getting these volatility events, these pendulum swings. So it's like, okay, if Apple sells off and NFP is colder than expected, we got to go back, or vice versa. So NFP will be the last one that we have to worry about. Again, like I said, if you look at Powell's speech yesterday, though, he was, really damn dismissive of inflation. I don't know if that's political or what. Basically saying that he lived through stagflation, and this isn't it. Which that's completely false, because if you look at all of the government metrics that calculated inflation back when he was witnessing it, they all say that we have massive amounts of inflation right now compared to what the headline number is. Anyway, though, he was dismissive. I don't know if it's political or what, but he probably has the NFP number already. I said that earlier this week. And look at this, TLT, is it front running that tomorrow? This is up another 33 cents. Another thing to look at is, if I can get it ready, We'll look at bonds quickly ahead of time here. But you can see the 2-year backing off pretty nicely. So this bullish type pattern here is now in jeopardy on the 2-year. And if rates are coming down, right, that's a positive for markets. It's a positive for disinflation, that narrative, I suppose. So maybe that's where he's getting that from. Maybe bonds are talking to us. Just something to consider for tomorrow. So in any case, spiders here holding up. 50, 75 to 80 is resistance right now. 50-50 support. That's your big point of control. And again, we'll just keep it simple here. Moving forward for the Qs here, we did break back above, or we got close to 428. That there's a little resistance there, and then 430, which is yesterday's high, supports 425 for now. These are just short-term levels, but good bounce there for the Qs. IWM we talked about, very strong here, and this is another thing that kept me bullish too, and I've been mentioning this the last 2 days. Bullish inside bar, right, on the RTY. Never closed below that green, and it's still getting a bid. So IWM's holding up. It can get up into, and even on the IWM there, never closed. You tested, but never closed below. This can still get up to 202.50, maybe 205. So when the Russell's leading, it's never a bad indication. Dow here up 1%. Still don't like that pattern, but who knows? Maybe we can get a little bit of a bid. 385 still resistance. Semiconductors were green today, but they were down a lot earlier. Well, I should say they went negative briefly, but they were underperforming earlier, and that's strange because Qualcomm had a really nice day, up 10% right now. So it wasn't really able to help out the semis this morning, but they came off the lows, and again, they're holding up here. Again, I still think 223 is a possibility. For the stocks, I don't know, probably like 48.50, we'll say. IGV also got a decent bid today, but still very weak. I don't like the pattern at all. If this gets a bid, 83, 84 is kind of your max move, I think, on this. So very weak. Transports bucking the trend here. Look at that gap and go today on the DJT. That was even with the market rolling over, right? Look at the spiders here, testing and making new local lows, where the transports here just inside and then up. I have not liked the transports recently, but today's a good day. It's back above that key 15.2 area. You're back above the green bar low, but you did still fail, so it doesn't take that away. You still failed on that weekly pattern. So I don't like the transports here, but today they had a good day. Next level, we'll just say 15.4. Yeah, 15.4 to 15.5 here for the DJT, but good pop. All right, we already covered rates. XHB, still watching this for possible bear flag. You do have an inside bar though, just like the IWM, so maybe this can move back up to the top end of that channel. I don't know if it gets much past that though. After that, you've got a gap fill up here and some resistance at 107.50. VNQ was green today as well. If that could maybe make a little zigzag up here, I wouldn't rule that out up into the 82, 83 handle, but again, still a lot of resistance there as well. Remember, this is a failure on the weekly time frame, so there should be sellers coming in up there if we get back up there. XLF here again up 12 cents. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Again, maybe this has a zigzag up as well. Ultimately, I'm still expecting lower prices down the line, but fins are holding up okay. KRE again just continues to be resilient. Again, I still really hate this weekly chart. If this starts to break down, like you have a gigantic base here, so inside of that red candle. So that's where I would be careful with KB or KRE. KBE is different. It still has bullish consolidation. Broker dealers up nicely again today. Still some resistance around the above 600 to 610. The trend is up and it's holding up okay. Additionally, I mentioned this yesterday, but what I was talking about with bonds, oil continuing to come down. Gasoline futures getting a bounce here, but down pretty sharply yesterday as well. There is some, I do kind of like this area as a bounce, 77, 78, got the 50%. You can see the fibs are already on there. And that's kind of where we consolidated before we broke out. So you'd imagine buyers would show up there. You can see we're kind of into all these trend lines, a lot of trend lines on here. This one's broken. But oil coming in, and again, is that you got to pay attention to this stuff, right? Yeah, I know inflation is the narrative. I've been beating that drum for 2, 3 years, but that doesn't mean it's things. We don't just go straight up like that. The same thing with bonds, same thing with oil, same thing with yields, everything. So inflation itself, right? There's counter cyclical moves to everything. Even if you look at yields during the bond bull market, there were still big counter trend moves in yields during that 40-year run. But again, so just be aware of that. Don't get dogmatic and think that like, oh, I'm bullish yields, so they have to just always go up. Like bonds will never get a bounce ever. Don't look at it like that. There's always getting, especially positioning too. I think the yield trade may be getting a little crowded there. So those are reasons that can change things. But in any case, oil maybe confirming that. But definitely a breakdown in the chart's definitely weaker, head and shoulders. That should get us down to the low 70s eventually, but we'll see if we get a bounce around 77. XLE getting a bounce here today off the 50 MA, off that yellow trend line. Again, that's a big weekly level right there, and it's holding. I'd like it to hold at least this green bar low by tomorrow's close, but I'm not sure if that'll happen. We'll just have to wait and see. XOP, same thing, down move, sliced the 50 MA, now it's getting a bounce here today. I'd prefer it to be back above that white trend line. And then OIH here, that was up 1.5%. Again, it's trying to hold this area here, hold the 100 moving average. It does look kind of weak though. I think we'll be able to get this cheaper. CCJ with a decent day. Again, nothing has changed on either of these. So, but they are starting to, URNM starting to curl back up a little bit. You can make a case there's a little trend line right here too. So watch that. Maybe a pullback and then one more higher low could get you above that. So the uranium play is still acting very well here. Nat gas getting a bid. Yeah, good pop after inventories. It usually drops on inventories no matter what the number is, and actually got a bid today. So maybe nat gas trying to turn the corner here. We'll see. Needs still a lot of follow through. You're kind of just in like this wedge-ish kind of look here, almost like a falling wedge. Nat gas futures, but it is getting a little bit of a bounce right now. Needs to do some basing overnight, I think, and then if it can do that, it can work its way back to 210, 220. There's going to be resistance there, but if you can push through that, then we can have a bigger move here. So I feel like this one's just kind of a powder keg here. It just needs something to get it going. I mean, this is the adjusted, but looking at the unadjusted prices, I mean, you guys get the idea, right? How much low can it go here? So, all right, dollar index here backing off. They did intervene in. Well, I don't think they officially said that, but come on, like that's intervention, right? Like that's not a real market right there. So that looks like intervention here. And yen coming back, or dollar yen coming back in. This should be some support around 152, I'd imagine. But DXY, we knew there was going to be resistance up here anyway, right? We said 107 is not going to get much through that. And 106.50 was the number, and we're coming back. 105 is support in the short term. Through that 104.50 or so. So dollar starting to roll over a bit here. Still fine on the weekly though. Still have a weekly and stuff. If this just bases here, this can go higher. I know everybody wants to claim the dollars. Every time the dollar has a down day, that's it. It's crash. Dollar's going to zero, but I don't think that's going to happen. Gold here up a little bit. I'm showing a red candle on the COMEX. But in any case, came off the low series of the GLD towards the end of the day. I'm still in the camp. This needs to have another zigzag down. Miners still holding up though. Gap down and then green on GDX. Good price action. I like that. And then silver here going all the way to the 50 MA. Almost got there and then bounced there at 26.25. I think I told you guys 26.25 for about 4 weeks now, or something like that. And that's where we bounced today. So we'll see if that ends up being more. But a good bid there. Platinum holding up okay. And palladium continuing to languish. Copper pulling back here as well. So it looks like the weekly may have a little bit of a high here. Now it's going to be important. Does it go sideways here? or does it get rejected? So this is a big zone here, and everybody loves copper. Now, nobody loved it down here, but now they love it. So just be aware of that. But 425 is your support if it does come back down. So copper pulling back. Bitcoin getting a bid here. It's holding on to that level. So we pierced it yesterday, 57.5-ish, and then we got a bid here. So we'll see what it does. I'm still expecting another lower high. I think we're going to go test 52, I think. At least that's what it looks like. Maybe not in a straight line. Might get one more lower high first, but I think that will get tested here. And again, it's not unhealthy if it does. Weekly 20 MA coming into play here as well. It's more minor because we've kind of gone parallel to it, right? It's not a up and then straight down. It's up and then kind of sideways and then into it. But nonetheless, it's offering a little bit of support right now. I still think this level does want to get tested though. So maybe that does it over the weekend. We'll see. All right, so market's closing in about 25 minutes here. Let's see, are we pulling back? Oh, let's see. Are they going to walk us back to 50-50? I bet they are. So again, that's why we locked in gains on the way up, locked in gains up here as well on our NQ position. So good decision there. In any case, good bounce here for the markets. Event volatility rolling off. Apple after the close, NFP. Weekly close will tell us a lot more. There's a lot of noise, guys, this whole week here. Up, down, up, down. So the weekly close will tell us a lot more, and we'll see what we get going into tomorrow. Obviously, Apple and NFP will have something to say about that. But again, that closing price tomorrow afternoon will tell us a lot more about next week. So anyways, guys, going to wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you guys all tomorrow.